the tier list, and it is actually a Call of Duty tier list. It's all the Call of Duties. You know, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the future, in a video, on the recording, whatever which way you're watching it on YouTube, make sure to give it a big bag of subscribe and share it to a friend, alright? I've added a tier column onto this because I feel like it's necessary. Call of Duty has been around since 2003, which would mean the big dog over here, being an old man, was 9 years old. I was 9 years old when the first game came out. And I can honestly tell you right now that I have played some of these Call of Duties, but I cannot remember some of them. So I've just made a column because I can't remember. But it's also the duplicated one. And the simple reason why I've done that is because I've seen Warzone 2 twice in this already, and I thought they're probably going to be duplicates somewhere else as well. We're going to go with the first one, which is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which I believe came out in November 2020. I think this was the first this first Call of Duty game that integrated with another Call of Duty game. And to be fair, it did a great job from a standpoint of the impact it added on Warzone. I'll discuss the game that went after that was a bit different, but I'm just going to go look from what it did for Warzone was terrific. I think they did a great job with all the guns. Like, it really made a big difference. So they added some like the FFAR, the MAC-10. They had some beauties in there, but unfortunately they also added the DMR, which absolutely destroyed Verdansk for me. Like that was just like, if you were caught out with a DMR, then you're done for, mate. Unfortunately, you're done for. Then they had the base meta and stuff like that, like the AUG and the M16 and stuff like that. Like, but the one thing that this game offered when they integrated into Warzone and worked with Infinity War, they brought in Rebirth. And if anyone knows and anyone's watched my content, Rebirth is my game. It's always been my favourite ever map. Resurgence is the mode I play, which is why I was ever so excited for Ashika Island to be put onto Warzone 2, because Resurgence, I don't care what anyone says, is the best thing that Call of Duty can offer from a battle royale experience. I don't think they have been, even with Al Mazrah. Al Mazrah as a map alone, I know I'm going off course, I will get back to the game in a minute. Al Mazrah as a map alone is probably better designed than Verdansk, but they can't seem to get the magic that Verdansk offered when that first came out. I just don't know if they can do genuine battle royale very good. But Cold War brought in Rebirth, and it's changed the game. It kind of saved Call of Duty Warzone, in my opinion, because I feel like Verdansk was getting incredibly stale. At this point, it was 2 years in. They don't do regular updates like Fortnite do and change POIs. They was desperate for a new map. But what they did is they brought Rebirth in, which was only meant to be for like a little bit. And they brought it in, and it really saved them. I was hooked from the first time. When it first came in, I was hooked from the beginning. It was my game. I loved Rebirth. They even tried to add like Fortune's Keep, but that was actually a bit more of a Vanguard one. I didn't like that. I was Rebirth guy all the way. But as a multiplayer alone, I thought it was too cartoonish. You can tell that they extremely rushed that. You can tell they put more effort into their Warzone integration, which I can get why, because Warzone was red hot at the time. But as a multiplayer standpoint, it was crap. I was not a fan whatsoever. Like, I always do the camo grinds. I didn't even do the multiplayer camo grind on this. Did not like the multiplayer camo grind whatsoever. I will say one thing that this game specifically did for me was I absolutely loved the zombies on it. I did the camo grind for the zombies, which was Dark Ether, which was a 6 skin for Rebirth, by the way. And for me, their zombies was ace. Honestly, that zombies was ace. Like, you know, the game afterwards tried to do with zombies, just couldn't even replicate it. They smashed it out the park, and they brought back an old zombies map that I really, really like. You know, brings close to my heart, to be fair, and they kind of linked it with that, and I thought it was terrific how they did that. After the fact that the zombies is so good in this game, has, in my opinion, saved it. I'm going to put it in okay. That's where I'm putting it. That, honestly, the things they added in, obviously integrated into, they brought in some great guns for Warzone. They was the ones that added Rebirth into Warzone, which was the saviour of it. You think Resurgence now, the same game mode that these guys created, is the saviour of Warzone 2. Excuse me. So it was needed, in my opinion, and I feel like they've made a bigger impact than people are giving them credit for. Multiplayer was crap, but their zombies was bang on. So I'm gonna go with okay for that. I'm actually gonna say Call of Duty 3 and Call of Duty 2. I don't even think I've even played Call of Duty 2, but I can't remember. I definitely have played the multiplayer, the campaign of Call of Duty 3. Do I remember it? Not a chance. I was such a young kid. I have got absolutely no memory. So I'm just gonna specify it there, and then I'm moving past it right now. COD 4. Ho ho! This for me is where they really started to slowly up their game as a Call of Duty, as a franchise. I was never as big as COD 4 as others, but I never got this game on release. Like for me, I got this game when MW2 came out 2 years later. That's when I got COD 4. So maybe I missed the hype of what this game offered for multiplayer experience. I bought them both together because it was more for the campaign basis, really, because at this point I wasn't sure too much about multiplayer and that. So I bought it for that perspective. Obviously, I knew about multiplayer on COD 5, but we'll get into that in a second. So obviously, like, I actually got COD 5 first, and then when COD 6, which was MW2, that's when I bought COD 4. And I remember it to this day. It was a long time ago now. I do remember it, where getting them both, to be fair. So my mum had to get them for me because I was under 18 at the time. So thanks for that, Mum. It was good. I remember playing the remastered version, and they brought out like the multiplayer and that sort of stuff for it. I'm going to put it, again, just for me personally, like my experience for it, I'm putting it in okay. I know that it really kind of, kick-started the multiplayer experience that everyone loved from Call of Duty, but I don't think it hit the sweet spot from this game. I feel like it just got it started. Advanced Warfare. I'm trying to figure out which one's Advanced Warfare and which one is Infinite Warfare. I can't remember the difference. I want to say Advanced Warfare was pretty good, to be fair. Maybe all of them are going to be the same. But I'm going to put this in okay as well. I ain't got strong memory of it. I can't remember which. There was one that had like a load of jetpacks, and as much as not everybody was a fan of it, I quite liked the movement pace of it. I quite liked that they wasn't scared of trying something new as a Call of Duty franchise. You think they've brought the first 3 out, which was World War II games. Then they brought Modern Warfare out, which was obviously in the modern time. And then obviously they went back to a World War game, and they only had Modern or World War, and I thought it was really cool that they went into an opportunity of like a bit of futuristic. I can't remember if it was this one or Infinite Warfare. I'm gonna put it in okay though, because I've got memories of both games, and I feel like I was quite satisfied with both games personally. So is that Black Ops 4? I never played Black Ops 4, so I'm gonna have to give that one a miss. And Black Ops 3. I only played the first 2. Black Ops 2 was huge. Like, I feel like after the hype, the build that Modern Warfare 2 offered, for this game to be the game that come out, this game came out no wait, right, I'm trying to figure out the list of it. So it was World at War, MW2, Black Ops, then MW3. It came out after MW3. Right, okay. Yeah, so like, Black Ops, in my opinion, as much as everyone was obsessed with Black Ops 2. Everyone was obsessed with Black Ops 2. I actually preferred the first one, personally. I thought the first one was a banger. I thought they did an incredible job with the first Call of Duty, Black Ops. Black Ops 2 hits different to everybody else. For the fact of what it did, I feel like it's the only game other than the original MW2 to really be on par with how good, it, where you kind of can't not put it on the GOAT. Like, for me personally, I want to put it in good, but the impact it made, obviously, because you think there's more than one company that makes these games. Obviously, Call of Duty is the franchise name, and they've got companies inside that take it in turns and build their own ones. At the time, Infinity Ward was doing the Modern Warfare games, and they was on fire, and they needed something that's a bit different and a bit different, but at the same time, and they smashed out the park with the first two Black Ops games. So I got to put it in the GOAT. Here's the Black Ops one. I'm putting that in GOAT as well. Like, I've got nothing but fantastic memories. Like, my favourite map, like, as much as I love, like, Nuketown, that sort of stuff, my favourite map was Firing Range. I loved Firing Range. That was a great map. Like, that's a map that I don't think I've played on since, like, these games. Like, that, I haven't got any memory of them. Like, they didn't bring it back in Cold War, which I thought they probably should have brought it back in Cold War. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think I'm going to put that in, can't remember, for Call of Duty. Ghosts. Not everyone was a big fan of Ghosts. It was an Infinity Ward game, again, wasn't it, as far as I'm aware. And a lot of people wasn't a fan of Ghosts. I actually really enjoyed Ghosts. I thought Ghosts was a solid game. There's a good multiplayer. I was just a casual Call of Duty player all the way until Warzone came out, to be fair. So, I just enjoyed it casually until Warzone came out. Ghost is great. I'm going to put Ghost in good, because I thought they did a real good job with that game. I think it's quite underrated, personally. We're going to move on to Infinite Warfare. Because I can't remember which is which, I'm just going to put them both in good. I haven't got a bad memory of either. I know a lot of people wasn't a fan of the futuristic vibe of it. I didn't mind it, personally. I thought it was quite cool. And I felt like it was, they did a good job with, trying to offer us something different. And I'd be open for them doing it again. I don't know how it would work with a Warzone perspective, but I also think if you went with the whole futuristic and the jetpacks and whatever they did, it offers more opportunity of content for people, because you think there's only going to be so much of Warzone in particular that you can do. Like, you can keep bringing new maps and new guns, but you're only going to, half the guns that are in MW2 now, the new one, have been in Warzone previously. They're just renamed. Like even the new one they brought out, the ISO, I'm like, there used to be an ISO SMG, and when you build it as a long range, the barrel is bang on the same as the Grau. So, there's only so many times they can do it, so I feel like at some point they've got to go down the route of futuristic Warzone, which I'm all for. They had so much potential of opportunity to work on something great there. So, I'm up for it. I don't know what anyone else is feeling, but I am totally up for it. Vanguard was the previous Call of Duty that I did last year for the camo grind. It's not a plug. I'm thirsty. Vanguard was an odd one, because from a Warzone perspective, I felt like it ruined it. I felt like it was ruined what they did. That's just me personally. I just think from a Warzone perspective, I feel like Cold War integration was good, but then once you added Vanguard in, I think it spoiled it. I think there was too many. There was over 200 guns, and you could probably use about 2, 3 that could generally a genuine competition for good guns. And I think that's the only issue when you do loadout types for a battle royale, is there's always going to be a meta, because you can kind of pick anything you want. I think that's where Fortnite do really well, is that they'll pick and choose what's going to be on the floor loot, and they'll take some out and then bring some back in, and I think that's quite good from that perspective. And I feel like they did try and go down that route, and for me personally, all they had to do is give us an alternative. As much as the third person thing's cool, why didn't they go along with the third person playlist and put with the third person playlist, put a no loadout thing, and it be like a genuine just casual game, whatever guns you find, and you know what I mean. They could have gone with a bit of route like that, like I think PUBG and that used to do like attachments and stuff like that, and you added attachments onto the guns. Like I think that would have been pretty cool as a separate thing. Unfortunately, you can't offer this option after people have had the loadout option and everyone's loved it for 2 years, and then you go and try and take all that away. I think that's where they failed, is I think they tried to completely take everything away that, you know, kind of kept people wanting to play Warzone in the first place. So, as a multiplayer standpoint itself, it's not that bad. I feel like, to be fair, all I played was Das House and Shipment, and they literally, like, never changed that playlist. I feel like all they would do is they would offer Shipment, or they'd offer Das House, or they'd offer them both together, and then you'd get the new map for maybe a week or two, and then everyone would complain and want them others back. I feel like when I did my camera grind, I was just on these two maps. Das House was, to be fair, as an individual, like as my memory, I haven't got any other memory of Das House being on any other game. So if it's a brand new map, fair play to them. They've done a good job. I thought it was pretty cool. I quite liked Das House. That was a good map. And obviously they had Shipment, which I actually didn't originally like Shipment on it, but it grew on me, and I did like it eventually. The snipers was absolutely the biggest pile of shit I have ever used, and I love sniping. I'm more of a sniper on Fortnite than I have ever been on Call of Duty, but I do like to pick up a sniper now and again and see if I can get a few shots. I do, but I didn't want to go anywhere near these snipers on Vanguard. I felt like the SMGs were stupidly overpowered. The shotguns were disgusting. They were literally disgusting. People was smashing clips out of like a 10-second nuke, which is it's 25 kills on Vanguard, 25 kill game without dying, and I got a couple of nukes, to be fair. I think I'm gonna go. Thing is, I've got quite a lot of good memories for Vanguard, and I feel like I can't really put it in bad, but it's not one of the pair of these ones. It's not. So I'm going to put it in bad. World at War, COD 5. In my opinion, one of the greatest games Call of Duty have ever brought out and produced. The multiplayer maps were absolutely beautiful, unreal. The guns they had was unreal. Like and then you think about like the zombies, which was the original zombies, which I'm not going to say the term of the name, that's why it's just called zombies now, but it was after the German soldiers. It was that and then zombies. That, in my opinion, still to this day, is the greatest zombies mode ever. That's just my opinion. Personally, for me, that zombies was simple. It wasn't like there wasn't a camo grind for zombies at that point. It was simply just see how far you can go, which I quite like the simplicity of it. And I feel like when Cold War brought theirs out, and they obviously tried to integrate it with this, which obviously, why wouldn't they? You know, obviously they know it's a popular map, because I actually think that zombies got a bit too complicated for me. Like, I quite like the simplicity of just survival. It's a great thing to do with your friends and stuff like that. Unfortunately, you know, that's just the way it's gone. I've played some other ones on other games and just not been that fussed, I won't lie. But Cold War did do a good job of it. But the original one is sick. That's going in goated. I don't care. That's the big dog. I loved World at War. I've got nothing but fantastic memories for that. Quick swig. I am brew. World War II. See, this is where I thought I was dead excited for it, because like at this point we had loads of like futuristic games, Modern Warfare games, Black Ops games, and we didn't really have a World War game since World at War. So when they brought the opportunity of World War II back, I was so excited for it. But my God, this game was trash. It was crap. Because obviously, because Vanguard's a World War II game. Which is, let me just specify, let me just go back to Vanguard quick. Vanguard brought like futuristic guns and they had like a laser gun, and I was like, it's a World War II game. Don't. Just don't. No. Anyway, World War II was trash. Not a fan of it whatsoever. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's just plain trash. Maybe my expectations was far too high to be able to ever exceed this. But it was trash. Not a fan of it whatsoever. The Bidoc is here. Modern Warfare 2. Personally, in my opinion, absolutely amongst these, but it should be higher. Like, I need another tier. Because there's GOATed, and then there's this. Modern Warfare 2 is the greatest Call of Duty game ever created. Better than Black Ops 2, better than World at War, better than the original Black Ops. This game is some of the highlights of my childhood, of my teen years. I was on this after school, after college, all day, every day. I was obsessed with it. Didn't even do all the camera grinds, weren't bothered. I had the same guns, I had the same thing, the maps. Literally couldn't tell you a bad map that I disliked on this game. And I have never come across another Call of Duty where I've loved every map. Like nowadays, they do the 24/7 mode where you get like just one or two maps just to do your grind. They didn't do it back then, and it was just kind of whatever map came up, that was the one. And they did a voting system on that one as well, and you could vote between two maps, which, in my opinion, they absolutely should bring back. That was sick. Like how this is what you issue with Call of Duty is they test things out, it works, and they go and take that out, and like, no, what they should be doing with each Call of Duty. Like, and I get there's different companies and stuff like that, so maybe they've got a different way of doing it before other ones. But like, why not just see what works? If it works, keep that in and continuously progress this game. I don't get it. But Modern Warfare 2 was ace, and all I ever want is for the current MW2, because there's a difference. Obviously, I know it's kind of technically like a remake, but this one's called Modern Warfare 2. The new one's called MW2. Even though everyone used to call that MW2. But Modern Warfare 2 is unreal. And they had a gun called the ACR, which was my all-time favourite assault rifle. And I just want them to put it in MW2. So bad. Put that gun in. Let it be meta for like 3-4 months. I am all over it. Love that gun so much. And I guarantee you now, they'll bring the intervention in as well, which is like up there to be the greatest sniper in history on this game. Bang that in. We are all done for on Ashika Island. Oh my god, everyone's going to be running it. MW3. See, it was good. It's good. It brought good maps in, like Dome, which is now on MW2 now. I thought it was good. I'm going to put it in good with Ghosts. I haven't really got many memories of that game. I feel like I was just so hyped up after the previous games that we had. I haven't got many memories of MW3. But it was good. It was a good game. I think definitely on par with Ghosts. So, right, okay, so we've got the current Call of Duty game, which is MW2. Where am I putting this? They have took a lot of big risks just from a multiplayer standpoint on its own. They have put a lot of risks on this. They've changed the style of the progression on camo grinds, on leveling up. I weirdly like it, but I'm a camo grinder, which means I will level every single gun up and I will gold every single gun. That's who I am. That's what I do. For a casual player standpoint, it is dog shit. Because if you want to level a specific gun up and you want certain attachments, like there's going to be certain attachments that's going to be really good for that gun, but you don't unlock it in that gun, you've got to unlock it in this gun and that. And basically, like, sometimes you have to unlock a gun, you'd have to level up like 4 different guns. You have to level up that one to that one, then that will unlock that one, then you level that one to that one. And like, it was like a bit of a pyramid scheme, and it's like, I kind of get where they were trying to go with it. I think, from a casual standpoint, don't really work. I feel like you've got to look after your casuals. I quite liked it. because I'm a camo grinder. But for me personally, yes, I'm going in good though. I think they've done a good job of it. I quite enjoy the multiplayer, especially now that they're buffed the pace of the running and stuff like that. I think it's a lot better now. Very good game. Modern Warfare, which is the first game that integrated Warzone, which we will discuss Warzone, as you can see. Warzone 1 and Warzone 2 are just straight after it. Modern Warfare as a multiplayer, I thought the map's trash. I honestly, genuinely think the issue with that game is, other than shootouts and shipment, because they did a great job in adding shootouts, because obviously they've added that in MW2 now. Shootouts is an excellent map, and then they added shipment in, which is an original map from, I want to say COD 4, to be fair. These were as far as I'm aware, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, this was the game that first initiated the 24/7 modes, where you just get shootouts 24/7 or shipment 24/7. I haven't got any other memory of them doing that previously. I can't remember because I think it was World War II that came out before that, and I haven't got a memory of if they did that or not. I thought the gameplay, in my opinion, is the best gameplay that Call of Duty's ever seen. They sit here now and tell us that MW2 is more advanced than any other Call of Duty in history. I disagree. I think Infinity Ward really like the realism of things, but what MW did, just from a multiplayer standpoint alone, movement was insane. Honestly, that it was so beautifully designed what they did with Modern Warfare. I'm putting it in good as well, just for all that. And they brought in my opinion, my favourite sniper of all time, the Kar-98. And I know it's technically a marksman rifle, but that gun was beautiful. Literally beautiful. And the MP5, they've got the Lockman sub now in MW2, but it still doesn't hit like the MP5 did. I love that MP5. Absolutely love the MP5 in Modern Warfare. And my God, do I miss it. But yes, I'll put it in good. It is good. And I'm just going to have a check. Have we got any more? I think these are all just duplicates now, aren't they? Yeah, I think we've just got Warzone and Warzone 2. There's a Warzone Caldera there. I'm going to talk about these in order. Because I'm actually going to go with, when I say Warzone Caldera, I'm literally just looking at that as being Caldera. Warzone, I'm looking at Verdansk. And I'm looking at Verdansk and looking at Rebirth. Warzone Caldera, I'm looking at Caldera and Fortune's Keep, because this was Vanguard's integration into Warzone, and I know that's what the original Warzone's called now, and it is literally just Caldera. But I'm going to look at it as from what Vanguard offered to Warzone at that point, and then Warzone I'll go with the previous two games, into one. Warzone, when it came out, at this point, never played a Battle Royale. I didn't ever play Fortnite early days. I knew what it were, but I never really played it. And I remember my friend Ash saying, do you want to try again this Warzone? I was alright. And we went on Plunder at first. We never went on the Battle Royale mode, we went on Plunder. I used to love all the Plunder and that. I thought it was great. And to be fair, I'm quite glad I went that direction of going on Plunder first, because it kind of gave me the idea of big maps, parachuting in, we're going to drop here, we're going to drop there. I quite liked that idea of that. But then when I first started to properly start playing Battle Royale, you got to remember, bearing this in mind, Warzone came out March 2020, like a week or two before the lockdown happened. And it couldn't have come at a better time, I don't think, because literally nobody else had anything else to do other than play Warzone, and that's all your friends was literally sat at home all day, every day, just making TikToks and playing on the games. And I played so much Warzone with my friends every goddamn day. I'd get up, because you was allowed one exercise a day, I'd get up and I'd go for my walk down the beach on my own, and it was a ghost town. No one was around, ever. Literally no one. You'd see one car, one dog walker. That is it. I'd go for a walk for about an hour, come back, and I would literally play Call of Duty Warzone all day. Verdansk was ace. And again, like I said at the start of this recording, I don't think they've even come close to doing a battle royale away from Resurgence, a battle royale experience as good as what Verdansk offered. Verdansk was beautiful. It was very different. They had a gulag, which I don't think has been seen in any form of battle royale, where it's 1v1 and you get a second chance to come back. Genius idea. And the loadout system was a genius idea as well. I don't think they've ever been able to duplicate that. Ever. Like I said, we'll go into Caldera after this with the Call of Duty Warzone Caldera. I thought it's trash. I'll start off by just saying that. And as much as I think El Mazrah is better designed than Verdansk, because I feel like Verdansk is very copy and paste kind of vibe. I felt like they was just trying to test the waters, see what everyone thought of it, and then obviously you think after that, then they started putting a lot of effort into these maps. Like even Rebirth is a simple map, but I also feel like sometimes when it comes to these maps, you don't need to overcomplicate the maps. Simple is better sometimes. Rebirth, in my opinion, is the best experience. Like I love Verdansk, but when Rebirth came out, when Warzone was integrated, and worked with a different company, so Infinity Ward and Treyarch, I think it's Treyarch, came together and they made war, and they took over. That's the first time they've ever done it. There's 3 different companies that run Warzone, Call of Duty, sorry, and 2 of them was working together on this game, Warzone, and they had their own individual multiplayers. I think it did a great job for Modern Warfare because they was able to keep their game alive, but then it also did really good at being able to let people use their old guns, but then the new guns came. It was a great time, I won't lie to you, from a gaming perspective. If it weren't for Warzone, I don't think I would have ever come across people like TimTheTatman, and I don't think I'd be sat here right now creating content for everybody else. I really don't think so. I think the fact that good timing, and it sounds strange because it was a lockdown, good timing of a lockdown and good timing of Warzone released came at a perfect time for me, and I truthfully believe that it was some of the best times I've ever had in gaming. Warzone I'm putting as a GOAT. I absolutely loved it, and if you include Rebirth with the OG Warzone, that's enough said there, because like Rebirth was some of the most fun I've ever had in history. Like I absolutely adored it. Warzone Caldera, I straight up thought Caldera sucked. I thought the map design was cool, and I thought it was pretty cool how they went from a different perspective of the game. But I thought it was too complicated. It was too big. I felt like there was trees everywhere. I felt like there was it was honestly not a fan of it whatsoever. The only time I truthfully believe Caldera did a good job is they changed a few things in how they did it. They changed it where you couldn't buy your own loadout before the first one came out, and then it was like where UAVs were more expensive. I actually really liked that they did that. I actually felt like the game flowed better and it wasn't sweaty. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't like that and complained, so they brought it all back, and I think they still made UAVs a little bit more expensive, but they still made it cheaper. So like they really upped the price of them, and they dropped that cheaper, but not as cheap as it used to be. And then you was able to buy a loadout, and I think that was just ruined after that. I just couldn't play it. Like it just wasn't for me personally. And then they brought Krampus in at Christmas, which was the most horrific thing ever. Like I don't understand it. Like the only game I've ever come across that works with having AIs and just regular players together, make it work, is Fortnite. I've never Call of Duty just don't know how to do it properly. They make them overpowered. They do the exact same thing with Warzone 2. In my opinion, Call of Duty need to stay the hell away from AIs being in Warzone. Stay away. It does not work. It has not worked. I respect that they're trying to offer different alternatives, different vibes, and different ways to do this. I do respect that a lot, but I also think that Just no. Just no. And then, if you go from it as well, they brought in a new Resurgence map, which I was buzzing for as much as I love Rebirth, and I will always love Rebirth. You can't go wrong with a bit of fresh content. A new Resurgence map, which I've always thought, if you're going to have a Resurgence mode, which is arguably the most popular thing on Call of Duty at that point, was Resurgence, but Rebirth was more popular than Caldera, without a shadow of a doubt. I even can argue that people was getting so sick of 2 years worth of Verdansk that people were slowly moving over to Rebirth. So Rebirth was red hot. They were red hot. And they brought in Fortune's Keep as an alternative. I thought originally they was going to replace Rebirth, which actually broke my heart a bit. Like, I'm even getting upset thinking about it now. I can't play it ever again. But Fortune's Keep was not. It was an alternative, which I thought was great. Like, if you rotate it and you have like a bit of options for both, and people can play Rebirth and people can play Fortune's Keep. I didn't like Fortune's Keep whatsoever. Again, it was another map that I felt like was over-designed. I felt like it was too detailed. I didn't need it. There was buildings everywhere. There's windows everywhere. It doesn't work for a Resurgence mode, I think. I think you need to dial it down. The simpler, the better. Resurgence is a fast game mode. You're in, out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you... Half the time, you're very, very rare if you drop in there and you do not die until the very end and win. The chances of that happening are very slim. Like, it's kind of like Resurgence is kind of a multiplayer / Warzone mode together. It kind of gives you the best of both. Because you get all the looting aspect, you get all the, the loadout aspect of Warzone, but then you get the respawns of multiplayer. And I think... because people get wound up when they get killed on like Warzone. Like, you think like you're spending 10, 15, 20 minutes like looting and stuff like that just to get killed by some camper in a building on Caldera. Resurgence and Rebirth and stuff like that gave you that opportunity to go again as long as your team survived. And I thought it's a genius move, and I feel like if Fortnite ever integrate a Resurgence mode, I think it's game over, because Resurgence is, in my opinion, kind of what saved Call of Duty massively. It massively saved Call of Duty, but Fortune's Keep was trash. I'm gonna go with bad, because don't like Caldera, don't like Fortune's Keep. Neither was for me. We're gonna finish off with one more, because I feel like these are all just duplicates, and we're gonna go with Warzone 2.0. If you asked me this question before the update on Wednesday last week, what I thought of Warzone 2, it would have gone here. Or here. I felt what they did was very brave. They tried to offer a brand new game, which in my opinion, they at the end of Rebirth and that sort of stuff, they had an extremely smooth game. They worked on it for 3 years. This has been added, that's been added. For them to start by scratch is extremely, extremely rare, and very, very ballsy of them to do that. And they took away all the things that people enjoyed about the game and tried to make an alternative. And I feel like the only reason why they ever made a brand new Battle Royale experience is actually for DMZ. I feel like that, because obviously DMZ is in it now. I think DMZ is shit. I'm not even like, I just don't think anything of it. Like that DMZ would work so well if they did the whole system like properly. Like they do the challenges, they give you alternatives. Like if they did it to the standard of what Fortnite offer you, where there's weekly challenges, and then they used to have like vibing challenges, or what's it, Oathbound now or whatever. They did challenges like that all the time, and you'd get genuine good gun skins and genuine good skins and get something out of it that's really worth it. DMZ would pop. Unfortunately, it's fucking shit. Like it's dog shit, and I know they're trying to use it as a beta, but I'm sorry, no, it's crap. You've had plenty of time. Warzone's been out since November, like, and they've been working on it obviously for a long time before. No, it's not good enough. Personally, I think they need to sort their act out. I just DMZ's crap. Again, I think Al Mazrah is an incredibly designed structure. I think it's really, really well done. They've done a real good job of adding some classic Battle Royale maps like High Rise, which I can't wait for them to add on multiplayer. obviously shipments on it, rusts on it. They've added some incredible maps as like a POI, which I think is great, to be fair. I think that's like something that a lot of content creators have been discussing about is why are they not just adding they've got so many great Call of Duty maps and just add them all in and like slot them all about, and then you can just add some new ones around it and that, which I feel like they've done with El Mazrah. The issue is they just didn't like what they did. They changed too much. The backpack system was too complicated. The fact that, you know, you could get large backpacks, and then it was like the plate system where you could have a 2-plate vest or a 3-plate vest. No. The fact that you couldn't run whilst plating. No. But the fact here that I'm recording this 5 days after Season 2's update, I can honestly say that the new update, which to be fair, they had to step it up because the player count was dropping. No one wanted to play Warzone 2. So that's why they brought Resurgence in. I don't think their plan was to bring Resurgence in for Season 2. I think they was trying to look at it for Year 2 and being like the big thing they do for Year 2 and push it. I think they was pushed into a corner where they was like, we need to act now. Fortnite is smashing it and we're not. We need to step it up. That's why they brought Resurgence in. That's why they give us all the loadout system all back. They changed so much. And I tell you what, everything they've added has been a positive. Ashika Island is awesome. As of right now, as of me recording this, I have got more interest on playing Ashika Island than Fortnite. And Fortnite has been my game for the entire year. I love Fortnite. I think Fortnite's updating system, where they update something every week, is fucking amazing. I feel like their movement's great. They're always improving the game. They're always working on the game, and I think it's incredibly smooth. And I think that's what kind of spoils Call of Duty Warzone sometimes, is that I reckon a lot of people expect the same thing back. I'm going to put this in good. I think they've done a great job with it. I do. I still don't think it's ever going to give us the days that we had during lockdown, or you know when they brought Rebirth in. I don't think it'll ever hit the same ever again. But I do think they're on the up now, and I think they're doing good. I think they just need to keep working on that. We've got another year and a half of Warzone 2 before we figure out what they're going to do next. But I think they've done a good job. I think this new update's great, and I love Ashika Island. I do. I really, really enjoy Ashika Island. I think it's some of the most fun I've had in Warzone in a long time. Like even towards the end, of Rebirth, and I love Rebirth. Even towards the end of Rebirth, I was fed up, sick of it. So goddamn sweaty, absolutely exhausted from it. So done with that game. So this is giving me a revamp and excitement of Resurgence again. So, but I thank you so much, everybody, for sitting here for the last 45 minutes or whatever to talk about Call of Duty. I really appreciate it. I hope you've all enjoyed it. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to give it a like and share it to a friend, alright?